Many times you've probably heard the reading of the publican and the Pharisee. And we asked, who is this Pharisee? What is a Pharisee? Well, those of you who are looking this way can see one standing before you, reading the Gospel. We often forget to look at the Pharisee which lives within us, but cast our eyes to others. And as written in the Gospel, try to justify ourselves by looking at all the so-called good deeds that we think we've done, and then comparing ourselves to others, secretly thinking that we are indeed better than them. Certainly that's an enormous temptation for those like priests, ordained clergy. Do you think they don't lie? They lie. Do you think they don't steal? They steal. Do you think they don't have evil thoughts towards others? They do. Do you think they don't curse? They curse. Do you think they don't do all those sort of terrible things that you might read about? They do. Or at least they love them when they see others doing them. Look at the Pharisee within yourself. You will see all these things, either in a spiritual way or physically. I remember our spiritual father, when he was confessing his sins, went through them all, and his spiritual father said, "And what about stealing?" He said, "Oh, I haven't stolen anything. I really haven't. I haven't stolen." I said, "You haven't stolen?" No, I can't think of anything I've stolen." I said, "Well, what about these things you say and things you write about? Those thoughts, they weren't yours. They were from others. And you took them and used those thoughts and all these things as if they were your own." Of course I've done that. How many times do we do that? You see, either way you look, the Pharisee that lives in us very strongly, sometimes stronger than we think. And especially where we live in a society like here in the West, where you see others who may not be part of the Orthodox Church. Very easy, very, very easy for ourselves to think that we are better than those in different ways. I always said, and I've asked you before, if you think you are so bad because you come to confession and you say that I'm such an evil person, I'm more evil than anybody else, and I say to you, name me 3 people that you think are better than you right now. It's very hard to find 1 or 2 that are better than yourself. That's all that Pharisee that lives within you. Indeed, one of the hardest spiritual aspects to fight against and to actually be purged of is this Pharisee that lives within us, and even to a small extent, and in all the many things that occur in life, wants to make us think that we are better than others. What's the cure? What's the cure? You came here for a cure. You come to church to be cured, not to just listen to a sermon or to a nice singing or something like that. To be cured. Well, the one that went out justified beat his breast and said, God be gracious to me, the sinner, which we know as the Jesus prayer, because the gospel was written before that particular prayer was exalted throughout the world. We know it in its long form. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, the sinner. O Lord, be merciful to me, the sinner. Or even, Lord, have mercy, depending on your disposition. But don't put in there, Lord, be merciful to me, a sinner, because then you already are putting forth the Pharisee that lives in you, that you are just one of many sinners, not the sinner. Let's face it, it's pretty much impossible to consider yourself worse than anybody else. You know, you see criminals and all sorts of people like that. So I'm not like that. Well, that's what you say. But you know, under certain circumstances, under certain temptations, in certain situations, you too might be like that, or even worse. Thank the Lord that He has not tempted you in those ways. And thank the Lord that He may not ever tempt you in those ways. And never put you into a situation where you could do those evil acts that we consider as really evil in the world. Murders and killings and deceits and all sorts of terrible things that hurt others. Thank the Lord that He has not tempted you with that. Because in many people's lives, they are put in that situation, in that sort of temptation. And in the depth of the soul that they never see, something comes out which shocks them, because they too are capable of all these horrible acts. This is the other second week for the preparation of Great Lent, for us to have a better understanding of where we stand before the Lord, where any poor person, sinful and unrighteous, not lifting their eyes to heaven, can go away justified by having a truly humble nature. Whilst those who think that they do good, particularly those in the church, walk away unjustified. May the Lord really help us in this. Particularly I ask, not to ever be put in a situation where we are tempted in those terrible things which do live in our soul. Because that is a grievous temptation, and very few are able to endure it. May the Lord help you and strengthen you and prepare you for this journey of Great Lent on account of this Pharisee. This week is given to us to be fast-free, so that we too may not, even in those small things, put ourselves forward as being better than others. So this week, the publican, the Pharisee, is no fast day on Wednesdays and Fridays. Lord have mercy on me as the sinner. God bless you, protect you.